I used to know a fox who walked until the sun went thin, and the road tasted like metal in his mouth. He wasn't young anymore, he carried time in his shoulder and silence in his throat. He still had desire, but desire had started to feel expensive. He didn't talk about hunger because pride doesn't like witnesses. He just kept walking the way we all keep walking when we don't want anybody to see. How much we still need. Then he saw them, grapes low on the vine, bright with late light, brown with promise. They look like forgiveness, they look like rest, they look like the first cool drink after a long, long journey. He smiled that tired little smile adults use when hope shows up again, and we don't know if we're allowed to believe in it. He bent his knees, he told himself, one jump, one honest jump, truth, and that's it. He jumped,
he missed,
he laughed,
he said,
fine, I slipped, I'll try again. I still have dignity. He jumped again, harder, harder, hard in his throat. Old strength waking up like an animal that still remembers how it used to run. And he missed again. The ground hit back this time, the kind of landing that reminds you you are not 20 anymore. He stayed down longer than he meant to. He watched the light move, he felt his breath shake, and when he finally spoke, his voice sounded calm. They're probably sour anyway. He said,
just like that,
like it was wisdom,
like it was truth,
like he didn't even want them. But listen, that sentence wasn't truth, it was self-protection. It was the bandage you tie around pride so it doesn't bleed in public. It was survival, we call that acceptance, but sometimes it's just a quiet way to say I couldn't reach without having to say couldn't reach. That night he slept under the vine, not because he was peaceful, but because walking felt like surrender. He watched the sky turn violet, he watched time lean over him like an old friend. He watched forgiveness hanging just above his reach, and he whispered to the dark,
I wanted you, I really wanted you.
no one heard except the dirt and the memory. Seasons don't care about our stories, they turn anyway. the time the leaves went pale, he had a version of the truth that he could live with. He'd tell anyone who asked, those grapes too sharp, too bitter, not worth the trouble. And if you didn't know him, you'd think that's wisdom, that's maturity, that's a fox who understands what matters. But if you really watch his eyes in the silence after he said it, you would see regret living there, quiet like a candle cupped in both hands. Regret never needs to shout, it just waits. It has time.
Give him 12 seconds of space.
Years later, and I mean years, with gray in the muzzle and slower mornings, and a softer kind of dignity, he passed another vineyard. Different place, different air, different life, same age.
He stopped walking.
He didn't leap this time. He didn't pretend he didn't care. He didn't call it sour. He just stood under that hanging sweetness and let himself admit the oldest, hardest truth.
I wanted something I could not reach.
That admission wasn't weakness, that admission was healing.
That was the moment forgiveness finally arrived.
Not forgiveness for the world, not forgiveness for the grapes, forgiveness for himself. Forgiveness for the younger version of him who had to lie to survive the day. We talk about redemption like it's a miracle most of the time. Redemption is just the first honest sentence we say to ourselves after years of pretending. He looked around, he found a fallen branch, he rolled a stone. He made himself a step, small, shaking, stubborn. He reached, he didn't get the prettiest fruit, he didn't get the one from his memory, he didn't get the past back, but he tasted sweetness, not perfect, not pure, not magic, real, and real was enough. And this part matters. A young fox walked beside him, bright eyes, fast blood, that reckless kind of hope that hasn't been asked to pay yet.
The young one looked up at the vine and said, do you think I can make it?
And the old fox, the one with dust on his coat and timing, Once, under a dawn too bright for wisdom, a rooster walked through dust and hunger. He searched for grain, not meaning, for noise, not knowing. He only knew what filled the beak, not the mind and the dirt. Something glimmered, a jewel breathing its own quiet light. He stared not in wonder, but in confusion. Can it feed me? He asked the silence. The silence answered with stillness. He nudged it once, twice, 3 times, and sighed, too heavy, too useless. He walked away, leaving worth behind. Like so many of us, leave truth when it doesn't look familiar. Because what we cannot name, we rarely keep. What does not shine for us, we call unneeded. How many jewels sleep beneath our daily noise? He crowed to the sunrise, boasting of his hunger, as if it were pride. The jewel remained quiet, a world that never looked back. That day the earth learned something small but eternal. Blindness does not live in the eyes, it lives in what we choose to see. A mind fed only by comfort forgets how to taste wonder. If you carry hunger, you'll see only grain. If you carry haste, you'll step over miracles. If you carry silence, you might finally hear what value sounds like. And sometimes wisdom is not a flash, but a shadow, a shape you notice only when the noise steps aside. We do not lose truth, we simply walk faster than it moves. Maybe that's us too, collectors of noise, losers of meaning. We trade awareness for the comfort of being right. We praise the loud and miss the precise. We chase the instant and forfeit the enduring. Once I too called truth useless when it asked me to change. I too turned away when value spoke in silence. It takes age to learn that light does not shout. So tonight if you find a jewel in your path, do not weigh it with hunger, hold it with stillness. Let your eyes move slower than desire. Let your breath arrive before your judgment. Maybe the jewel was never a lesson for the rooster. Maybe it was for us, the ones still learning patience. Awareness is not born from appetite, it's forged in quiet attention. He searched for grain, not meaning, but the ground remembers every step that missed a miracle, left an echo shaped like regret. carry power, open your hand. If you carry smallness, sharpen your mercy. Either way, let awareness be your only jewel. Let humility be the class that keeps it close. And when silence finally speaks, do not rush to fill it. Listen until it shows you what you never dared to value. The patient ear becomes a lantern, the careful gaze becomes a bridge. Because value never dies, it only changes its listener. Every age has its blindness to the obvious. The wise slow their heartbeat before they look. The rooster still crows every dawn, the jewel still waits. Perhaps both are eternal, one teaching hunger, the other sight. And somewhere between them we stand, half blind, half awake. Nodding again how to see wishes query dentro. Era demonica di know the che know that lonely treasure that's meant to shine. In silence findings were they all too holy to begin.